Hello, everyone, and thank you for coming and attending our webinar on digital marketing in the age of artificial intelligence and chatbots. We hope everyone's day is going well and either you're enjoying lunch or just after lunch. So before we get started, just a brief introduction about who we are. We are in Tiger Technologies. We do custom IT services, web, mobile, cloud. We use the latest technologies such as AI, ML, RPA, automation, the works. And we've been in business since 2004. We're located here in Richardson, Texas. And we've done over 500 web and mobile applications. So that's just a little bit about us. And as we go through the webinar, feel free to ask any questions and write in the Q&A any questions that come to mind. We won't be addressing them until afterwards. So once we get to the end, we will start addressing your questions. Okay, so our presenter today is Ritwik Bose, our global director of pre-sales, and I will have him go forward. Ritwik.
Thank you, Mary, and good afternoon, everyone, and good morning from wherever you're joining. Just to kind of like give a quick backdrop about why we are having this very quick and short webinar. Just to touch upon how digital marketing is actually working out in the age of AI and chatbots. Now, when we look at digital marketing, which is an umbrella term that covers all the facets of online marketing, which includes your content marketing, your video marketing, your email marketing, search engine marketing, and other digital formats. I mean, whatever it is that you are focused on. And as the industry kind of like have evolved over the past few years, it has adopted the usage of new buzzwords, such as AI and big data and machine learning and all of that. So we'll cover some of the very basic aspects of how it has impacted the marketers. Now, when we look at chatbots or AI for marketers, who's talking? Today, we see everyone is talking about AI. It is your engineers and developers who are talking about AI. The data scientists are talking about AI who works on specific data level. Your CXOs are talking about AI. The CMOs, the CEOs, COOs, pretty much everyone is talking about AI. But the most important part is marketers are talking about AI, and that too nonstop. I mean, they pretty much like talk about AI almost every given time. And the opportunities that are offered by the online world for promotion of either your products or services or brand is pretty vast. And the rapid penetration of these different kind of social media channels powered by AI has made it very easy to target users that are very specific to your brand. And measuring each of these marketing performance is a challenge digital marketers are solving today. And integrating all of these, which is your digital marketing activities, using these different technologies like AI, NLP, or machine learning is kind of like becoming a part of the promotional mix for every brand. Now, the world from where we see it, it has already changed. It's not changing. I mean, you've probably noticed that AI or artificial intelligence and machine learning have actually stepped into almost every domain to augment work efficiency or reduce your errors. And the marketing and advertising world is no exception. Artificial intelligence has made it easier for people to perform their tasks with ease without spending extra time. Though there are innumerable possibilities that are yet to be explored, AI is becoming a robust tool for the digital marketing industry by when we look at it as an overall. So what is next? I mean, we have seen from the early 90s, when AOL, Yahoo, and all of that, the way every type of businesses were focusing on was mostly on availability and searchability, making their brand available in the search engine. And today, if you look at it, it is all about giving the right message to that right customer at the right time in the most immersive way possible. So at the heart of any marketing is understand your customer. Gaining deeper customer and competitor insights is difficult, and sometimes it is very costly. So traditional marketers conduct market research with a small sample and make marketing decisions based on that sample. And the accuracy sometimes is quite questionable. And that's one of the reasons, it is important that you have better, faster decisions using deep learning or AI. So AI systems, if you look at it, particularly those that rely on deep learning, analyzing mountains of big data, they actually are able to recognize and give certain patterns and identify relationships with either limited or no supervision of a human being involved at that place. So you basically are getting much more better reports of what you need to target, who you need to target, who's the right customer for you. And at the same time, personalization through predictive analysis, and that's something that immersive and smarter experience is what you want to give to your consumers, because consumers today, they expect personalized experiences that push rather than pulling information out of the person in terms of who they are, which is their background, what kind of product history, what they're buying, what are the services that they would want to take. So all of that is not relevant anymore, because today you would rather push to the right customer rather than pulling the information back from them. And predictive analytics allow marketers to better target audiences, reaching them with content that they actually care about. So it is, at the end of the day, it is the content that they would care about. When we look at the business strategy versus digital strategy, now let's kind of like try to look at it from a perspective that there are a lot of templates available today. I mean, you can go to Google and say, I want a business strategy template, or I want a digital strategy template, which will basically, give you a canned version of what should be your marketing mix, what should be your, projected budget and things like that. But today, if you're doing that with a template, a machine can do it for you in the future. I mean, that's what we are looking at, because AI can drive a lot of these activities for you by telling you, this is the place that you need to market, this is how you can market. So how all of this has come? Now, new age of digital marketing, starting from, the product-centered marketing, which is all about my product, this is how it works, this is how you should buy it. From that particular perspective to it is more of value-centered marketing, because what we have seen is that, even if you look at some of the researchers like Forbes Insight Research, they confirm that marketers recognize the key role of AI. And 84% of who they have surveyed said AI is important to the future of the company, and that it's 5 times more important than any other technology solutions such as the IoT and cloud computing, because today AI is going deeper in that sense. And even other analyst companies like IDC, they kind of like also reflect the same thought. They have estimated like by 2019, 40% of all digital transformation initiatives that are going around in the world will actually use AI. And I'm not talking about the Fortune 500s, but the small and medium enterprises, the startups, they are using a lot of these different kind of technologies to make sure that, at the end of the day, they provide a value-based marketing rather than a product and service-centered marketing. So evolution, yes, evolution, it is there. I mean, we have evolved as a consumer. Now, if we step into the shoes of our customers, as as a consumer, we have also evolved from basically looking at advertisements, looking at SMSs, your search engines and all of that. Today, we get information through email, through our social channels. We believe in what are the reviews and recommendations provided by my peers, my friends, and what the world is all talking about. And that's kind of like how it has become more important that as a marketer, I give the right messaging of my product and services. So how does AI and ML and chatbot, all of this fit into the space, how it is empowering digital marketers. Now, one thing that we need to look at is when we talk about consumers, customers, clients, and all of that, we have to be very specific about understanding that there is an emotional quotient behind whatever decision that they would be making. And this emotional quotient also connects with the practical aspect of their need. If they are buying a product, if they are buying a service from you, there is a practical reason behind that. Now, when both of this, the emotional quotient and the practical quotient matches, that's where we create that connection with the consumer. And that is where the deep learning aspect of any kind of AI or machine language comes into the picture, because it is able to derive what are the emotional quotient, what are the practical quotient of a particular consumer that is coming to your website or is buying your products or services, and based on that, give you a certain intelligent way of marketing. So AI, it is hiding. We've seen this particular aspect in Facebook for a long time, right? It will automatically suggest who it is, whether it is vision-based activity, whether it is speech recognition or image recognition, all of that. AI is actually hiding in plain sight. It allows us to give, function our day-to-day activities in ease. You have Siri, even Google for, in fact, specific words. It's already been there. AI and these algorithms are already working for us for a very long time. It's just that how marketers can actually start using this, and that is exactly what we need to address is how. How does content transit from your traditional CMSs to different kind of channels, your mobile application, whether you have a chatbot on your website or your mobile app or any other channels, whether it is on YouTube, on SlideShare, on LinkedIn, or any of the platforms. How can we minimize content, copy and paste, but maximize the time as a digital marketer, we'll see that, okay, we have posted a particular post on LinkedIn, and then we create a post for Facebook, and we shorten the post for Twitter and try to analyze the traffic that is coming through all of this. We also do, how do we tie related content together? That's kind of like one of the key things, that leftover content is actually very important in today's world, because there is so much of content that we create and it gets lost in translation or it gets lost in time. So how do we tie content that can correlate with taxonomies and metadata information? How does the content model flex in terms of using the specific content in a very targeted and reuse kind of a model? Or how do we structure content for search impact and making it more discoverable? And these are some of the things that we always need to address. So what are the benefits for marketers? Of course, you get to acquire highly engaged subscribers and leads from your website when you use chatbots and AI-driven chatbots or any kind of machine language for predicting who you should be targeting your specific ad campaigns or specific promotional activity from your website. Re-engage with potential customers. You can generate more sales, market to your subscribers. So if you have opt-in options on your website who are people who are reading your blog posts, who are reading your articles and white papers, downloading them, how do you want to target them in the best possible way? Or even understand the sentiment of a person who came to your website. Why did they land on your website? It's not just because of an ad campaign. It was because of a pain point that they were going through, and that's one of the reasons they searched and they came to your website. And then track and segment subscriber lists for much more tailored content. How do you want to keep them engaged? One of the key things about AI-driven chatbots is, of course, the lead generation aspect. And what we have seen is that most of the time, the chatbots are 24/7 active. So you don't have to have a live person available sitting and answering questions. It can answer questions for you. And chatbots can also get detailed information that can be relevant for the sales and marketing team. They can basically create a customized package for the sales and marketing team saying that these are the targeted audiences which I interacted with. and you can do the follow-up, or better target with dynamics. So there are a lot of chatbots which are being used to cross-sell and upsell to them. Chatbot is also a great way to educate your customer. Most of the time people land on a website, and if your persona that you have created, the journey that you've created in the form of your website navigations, if that is not fitting that particular person, they get lost. And that's one of the reasons you have bounce rates and things like that. But at that point of time, a chatbot can proactively, ask a person what he was specifically looking at and direct them to that particular page. So these are some of the more appropriate way of, allowing the bots and the AI to drive drive the decision power of your customers. And of course, there are different ways you can do lead capture through chatbot. There are a lot of earlier days we used to have a live person sitting and asking specific questions, and then trying to get all of the information, and then saying that we'll get back to you with a proper response, we'll get back to you with a proper quote, or things like that. But today, the lead capture process itself can be controlled and can be contributed by a AI-driven chatbot, where the chatbot itself will know specifically what the need is and drive that decision. And it could also act as a virtual sales assistant. I mean, your virtual assistants, whether it is a voice-based assistant or a chat-based assistant, all of this can be controlled from a chatbot perspective. The most important thing that we always keep forgetting about is that when a person comes, they are coming because of a sentiment, of an emotional aspect, or they have come here to your website due to a pain. Now, pain is not maybe a physical pain, but it could attribute to a practical pain that they're going through in their environment. So at that point of time, they might not be very convenient of chatting with a chatbot, and that's one of the reasons it is important that you do intelligent lead routing. So a chatbot, at the end of the day, acts as an employee. It's an AI-driven employee with an employee ID, with certain KPIs and metrics that's defining him, and that's how he's taking care of that particular user, and then moves the user to a live agent. So when we look at all of these aspects, the lead routing, the sales, the capture, the lead generation, and how it benefits the marketers, as a marketer, we need to think about these four things, which is how are we communicating, how are we representing the content, who are we representing it to the target, and how all of this can be managed. So if you look at this diagram, it basically takes care of these specific aspects, and we'll go into it in detail. When it comes to communication, what can AI do for communication? Of course, chatbots and voice search on-site, where your consumers are, whether they are on Facebook, whether they're on the web, how they can be reached. Currently they could wait days for a reply. They don't want to call up a call center, and chatbots open up communications without wasting resources. That's kind of like what chatbots focus on. When it comes to content, it involves a lot of curation. As a marketer, I have to define what are the right type of curation, content that I've created. How do I create these contents? And in fact, there are so many tools which are out there which basically helps you. These are all like different kind of tools that can help you create and curate content. And some of them are AI-driven, which means that it will understand your targeted audience. It will understand who you are targeting. Like, for example, if your solution is specific for, a specific, type of demographic, whether it is female, male, or mothers or dads, and different age group, children, adults, however it is, it can create that kind of content based on those targeted audience. And how do we target it? So as I mentioned, demographic is one of the most important things. You need to understand who we are targeting, and these AI tools which are out there, they are very progressive in terms of creating, curating, and optimizing these content, which could land on your blog post or emails or your landing pages in your videos and advertisements. So all of this can be taken care by different kind of tools which are out there, like PubMatic, Rubicon, AdForm. These are something which drives your targeting aspect. Finally, we look at the management. So these AI chatbots, as they are functioning in terms of talking to your consumers on the web or mobile, getting data, they are collecting these data, they are analyzing these data, and that is how we are able to get insights, actionable insights, to basically know that, yes, this particular market is working for us, or yes, these are the type of customers that we should be targeting, and we should not be investing more on, or paying, different kind of cost per month activities for channels that are not effective for us. So AI by itself can drive all of those decisions and give you some of the decision points for the management to take a better, better path. So we talked about how AI and chatbot are all coming in the picture, but what matters is what are the type of solutions. So if you look at the screen, these are the different technologies that marketers are using. Now, there are close to about 6,829 solution providers, marketing technologies which are out there. So it is growing. The reason for the growth is because small and medium businesses, large enterprises, startups, they are using these different kind of solutions for their own growth, whether it is from a visibility, whether it is using it for lead capture in different scenarios, they are using it. And if you just look at the AI-driven chatbot landscape, there are so many of them. I mean, if you look at it from self-servicing, which is where you can host up your own bot and manage that, or whether you would want a service provider to manage the chatbot environment, whether you want it for marketing purpose versus whether you're looking at a chatbot for just supporting your clients. So there are different dynamics that we can use when it comes to the overall landscape of how AI is driving the marketing aspect. Now, how does AI and ML chatbot fit? Again, the question comes back is yes, AI is advancing beyond your traditional data analysis and moving rapidly into data generation. AI itself is creating data for you as machines are getting better at automating, these two basic human senses, which is sight and hearing. That's kind of like what a chatbot is at the end of the day doing. It is looking out for your customers. It's hearing the customer. It is analyzing that, and then creating a very data-rich, categories for you to decide as to how exactly you would be using these different kind of marketing tactics. So when we look at the stats which are out there, yes, marketing as such, it's kind of like a consumer technology. It's mixed with everything. All content today, the ROI is emerging from motion, which means like the content that flows between the producer of the content, the human who is consuming the content, and these bots who are in between, who are either translating the content, transmitting the content, and things like that. So AI will transform marketers from reactive to making them more proactive planners, and that's kind of like what the focus of AI from a digital marketing standpoint, because today the environment is such, it's a cutthroat environment, so we have to be proactive rather than trying to be more reactive in nature. And the enhanced analytics that AI provides will help marketers more efficiently plan and execute campaigns in these different activities, which is segmenting your customers, tracking the customers, and that's how we use the retargeting activities and the keywords that we are using to bring them to our sites. So some of the stats, now this is one of the stats by Tune in terms of what technology will impact marketing the most. And if you look at the first five or the top five, you see that AI, deep learning, and ML is definitely one of the most impactful technology. And of course, bots and chatbots are also there because today we don't want to pick up a phone and call. We would rather prefer typing, and that's kind of like what most of these analysts are talking about. That yes, currently companies, they are using AIs to either analyze their data, to provide more personalized data, or whether it is being used for email marketing. But at the same time, when we look at all of these data, yes, AI is being used by digital marketers for many reasons. So the role of artificial intelligence and chatbot, we know that it's been there. A lot of analyst companies are saying that it's going to grow fast, but it's also important that we understand what exactly this is all about. And AI, definitely we see that it will aid in different kind of activities, whether it is from content creation, or whether it is automatically creating or editing your content. And AI chatbots will basically be the face for the brand to interact with those visitors who might get dropped off from your website because they are not able to find the right kind of information. And chatbot popularity, of course, it's been growing over the last year. There have been over 50,000 bots that have been deployed just in certain platforms. Facebook itself is a good platform if you are more consumer-facing. But yes, there are different bot platforms which are out there. Now, this is just an example of how a chatbot functions. And in Tiger, we have our own chatbot a building platform where you can build chatbots. It's a low-code environment, which means that even if you're a business user, you can build your own chatbot, let the chatbot function. You can define certain KPIs for the chatbot. You can define certain metrics for the chatbot and let it run through its own aspect. So this is an example where you can track order, you can view orders. This is another example where if it is more personalized to a specific type of user group, where they can see their dependents, and you can add your dependents. You can choose benefit programs. This is one of the examples. But if you look at it, yes, all of these examples can go beyond just web. It can go onto your mobile. It can sit on Skype, on Facebook, wherever your customers are. At the end of the day, that is what we focus on. So we'll kind of like, I know we're just about 3 minutes to wrap up the webinar, but please focus on, don't go with the hype. AI is a hype right now. Everyone, as I've started off the webinar saying that everyone is talking about AI, but it's also important that we understand whether it is viable for the organization, how it is viable, what is the maturity level of the organization. It's not just bringing in an AI piece to your organization. It's about also the mindset. What is the risk involved? How do we integrate with your existing system? So these are different kind of evaluation that as a brand we need to understand, and it is important that you educate yourself in terms of how do we implement or outsource or adapt these kind of different AI technologies that is beneficial for the organization. So just what next? Yes, try to learn everything about your customer, and there are tools which are out there which can help you do that and understand what they wanted or when they want it, and that's one of the most important things. Quick summary of Empiger, and we'll then get into the Q&A round. But as Mary mentioned, we've been there since 2004. Over the last couple of years, we have been focusing a lot on RPA, AI, and chatbots. And we've been fortunate enough to deploy a lot of these AI-driven chatbots for consumers and clients across the globe. And yes, if you have any interest in understanding how AI and chatbot can drive your marketing activities, feel free to connect with us. So let's get into some of the questions.
All right, thank you so much, Ritwik. We do have a couple questions for you. First off is, how do marketers approach new AI-based marketing technologies? and avoid succumbing to the so-called SNTS?
Well, that's interesting. SNTS is a shiny new toy syndrome. So AI and chatbot, yes, they are the new toys, new digital toys. Over the past year, we've been thinking about this a lot because as a company, we have invested in a platform that can substantially reduce a lot of effort in recreating or building a chatbot from the scratch. And most important aspect of a company's approach to today is, and of course tomorrow's, is the tech-focused marketing landscape. So what we are doing is we are now advising leaders to adopt 6 lines of questioning. So whenever you have, whenever you think that is this the right time for us to get into the AI side of it, ask these 6 questions internally. First question, will this marketing technology project be relevant to one or more of your existing customer segments? The second question would be, what are the benefits to our customer? Are they going to be benefiting anything out of the AI involvement within your practice? What are the associated costs and risks that's going to be a part of that? Focus on, the third question could be, would testing or experimenting with these new technologies, which is your AI, will teach you as an organization something that can be useful for later, whether you're using the data that is coming out of AI for any kind of forecasting activities for your business. The fourth question should be, do we have any kind of internal capability or sufficient external partners who can pull this off? How do we determine what is success or failures of these AI-driven marketing activities? Or what do we do after we launch the program? I mean, who's going to be monitoring the program? What's going to be the output? So these are some of the things that we need to ask ourselves as brand leaders in terms of what we should be focusing on.
Thank you, Ritwik. I know we're running a little bit over, but I think we have time for one last question. How do I need to shift my marketing strategy to incorporate AI?
Okay, so the truth is there is no set response to this question because it really depends on what your business priorities are. As an organization, I might have certain business priorities that have to align with my digital priorities, which needs to align with the overall digital strategy that I have. So in order to get the most benefit of AI-driven marketing, marketers need to fully understand what the business priorities are and then modify their roles and responsibilities to complement the work being done by AI. And there's also potential that AI could uncover new opportunities for the marketers to pursue in the future if you actually adopt AI as a part of your digital marketing tactics.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Ritwik. I know that we went a little bit over. Sorry about that. But thank you so much for attending our webinar. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. There is an email address on the screen. You can also give us a call. We'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. And we hope everyone has a great rest of their day. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.